Hey everybody, welcome back to the Overwatch League Report. I'm Brian.
I'm Ben.
And Ben, we have a Stage 1 champion. Shout out to the Vancouver Titans for taking it home. What are your initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts are that final match was awesome. The XL being upset was crazy. The Shock played out of their minds and almost won. And I'll take credit where credit is due. I did say when you asked me in our preview who I thought the dark horse candidate was if it wasn't going to be New York or Vancouver, I said that the Shock were the most likely people to pull it out. So
yeah, and they almost pulled it out. They really, really almost pulled it out.
Oh, yeah.
So went as far as it could go. Game 7, so exciting. But first, we have to address, we called it. We all knew, the world knew, Boston was going to lose to Vancouver.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't particularly close.
No, but you know what the world didn't know would happen? The Dynasty would beat the NYXL. Ben,
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because that blew everyone's mind, including mine.
Yeah, and not just beat them, but beat them like very handedly.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that one thing to talk about for that match, a lot of people are bringing up players like Michelle and Fisher and like Fleta to a lesser extent, who played a huge role in the later matches after they put in their A team. But I think that something that's being buried is that I think that one of the players that really carried them through their win on Ilios is Fitz on Zarya.
Right.
And so I think that's being overlooked a little bit is how well Fitz played against the Excelsior, especially like landing multiple fight-winning grabs on both points that they'd won on Well and on Ruins. So I think that it was very very impressive that this secondary squad that a lot of people had assumed that they were just kind of putting in to troll on Washington. Was actually able to win a map off of the team that was supposed to be like the saviors of the game. So,
yeah, no, I think we definitely had some fun at Washington's expense last week with that lineup. Memeing on it pretty hard in the group chat, but hey, they were planning stuff. They were playing 4D chess. We were playing checkers over here.
So it does seem, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, what do you think they were able to do that so many other teams weren't able to do to this NYXL team?
Yeah, I think that they were able to kind of take advantage of some weird positioning choices that the Excelsior make because of the style of goats that they play. And especially on maps like Hollywood, and then also later on Rialto, they were kind of able to take advantage of Jonak's placement, especially where Michelle and La Sombra was able to get multiple hacks onto to Jonak in key moments. The most impressive one being the one on Hollywood during one of the final pushes, where Jonak had trance and Michelle was able to hack Jonak, and people have broken it down frame by frame. Michelle was able to get the hack off literally one frame before Jonak's orb hit Michelle.
Oh,
so, and that was fight winning, and that was map winning probably because Fisher was able to get his shatter off without Jonak coming in to save his team with the trance. So, I think that was one of the key.
They always call football a game of inches. Overwatch is clearly a game of frames.
Yeah.
So let's move on a little bit, because the Dynasty, they did win that, but they ran into an unstoppable force in the very next round with Vancouver. Vancouver beat them pretty handily. Let's talk a little bit about the Shock on the other side. What did you see that you liked from them that maybe surprised you, given that they were 4-3 coming into these playoffs?
Yeah, they were 4-3 coming in, but the teams that they lost to were some of the top teams, and the Shock had one of the hardest stage ones overall when you compare them to a team like, for instance, the Fusion, who came in. A lot of people were saying that the Fusion were being overrated because their stage one schedule was so easy.
Yeah.
and they lost maps to a team like they were the only team to lose to the Florida Mayhem, who were the only team to lose to the Washington Justice. So
Right.
like,
So, in a roundabout way, they lost to the Justice.
yeah, they lost to a team that lost to the Justice,
Right.
which is almost worse than losing to the Justice.
Yeah.
So I think that I think coming in, a lot of people were actually really high in the Shock, not just like me coming in. I think that people were definitely looking past the fact that they were coming in as a 6 seed.
Right.
Most people expected them to beat the Defiant, which they did very handily. Most people said that they had a really good shot of being able to go toe to toe with these top 2 teams, and they did. I think pretty much the reason that you can say that the Shock are so good is because similar to the XL, they have great talent at every single position. Rascal is probably the weak link in the team in the GOATS composition, but even Rascal is an above average Brigida. So I think that you look at players like Super, who really performed very, very impressively in that finals match, especially Sinatra, who is consistently in the top 1 to 3 Zarya players, and even just the rest of the team. Choi Hoban was really impressive. Landed a lot of really sick diva bombs, and even beyond that, was able to just kind of get in there and like survive fights that you wouldn't really expect a diva to survive. So I think that just like pound for pound, each of their players is possibly top 5 at their position.
All right, so let's start breaking down the final match. Ben, what did you like? What did you not like from San Francisco going into this matchup?
I liked that they played up to the Titan style, where they were matching the aggression. Super was matching the aggression that we see from Bumper pretty consistently, and they were just very scrappy. They just never really let Vancouver take an inch on the maps that they performed well at. One of the things to point out, though, is that the maps that the Shock won were relatively close, and the maps that the Shock lost were not relatively close, except for Kings Row to an extent. But Dorado was mostly a blowout, and Mbani was a huge blowout. So like, and then the Rialto. So like these maps that they struggled on were the Assault and or the Hybrid and Escort maps, and those maps weren't super close. But the ones that were close, the Nepals and the Anubis especially, which was really impressive, especially towards the end. They kind of they scrapped their way through these fights, and they were able to just take advantage of these positional advantages. You have things like the really impressive shatter that Super was able to put out on, I believe it was Shrine, where Suinsu grabs down into the crowd off of the point, and then Super is able to shatter, break up the Titans, so they aren't able to come down and finish the players off during the grav. Just really like good awareness of these weird situations that come up, and being able to take advantage of situations that you wouldn't really necessarily think to do.
Yeah, no, and so from Vancouver's side of it, obviously they won, but what specifically did you think they did to pull this out?
I think that they just did what they have been doing, and they've done it pretty much better than every other team, and that's just play a hyper-aggressive version of GOATS, where you have Bumper taking extreme risks. You have these team fights where it seems like they have players overextending, but they're able to pull out more often than they fail, just because they're a higher caliber team, and because they just don't back down during these fights. You look at a lot of the teams that struggled playing in this meta, the Washington Justice being one of the prime examples.
Of course.
I mean, not to like bag on the Justice again, but like they're a good example of what not to do in this meta, which is you go in, you start to play aggressively, and the second anything goes slightly wrong, you just like run away and hide.
Right.
And so you can't win fights if you're not willing to like take the risk that you might lose the fight.
Right.
Yeah, I think that Vancouver is really good at making these high risk, high reward situations pay off for them.
Right.
And you've seen that again and again, where they're able to just win these fights that you shouldn't really expect a team to win, just because they don't back down and because they have such high individual player performance.
Yeah, no doubt. So can we talk a little bit about Super? Just want to give him his due, of course. He arguably outplayed Bumper in this match. Statistically, he certainly beat him in a few key areas. How impressed were you with this performance, and did you expect this coming out of Super coming into this match?
Yeah, I was extremely impressed with Super's performance. I know a lot of people coming in were mostly hyping up Sinatra as being kind of the star of the squad.
Right,
Sinatra, yeah, I mean, Sinatra has been placed at either the 1 or 2 position on that role throughout the entire stage, with Someone's being the other person who has been kind of in that fight for that 1-2 slot. So, but yeah, I was very impressed by Super, and I think it's almost laughable now that there was discussion towards the start of the stage whether or not the Shock should play Super versus Smurf in that main tank role.
I think he proved any doubters very wrong.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what they do in stage 2 because there is a potential for a meta shift away from Reinhardt. Maybe we have really no idea what's going to happen. Maybe we're just going to see Goats still with Baptiste in there. might see Boats, but
Boats.
Hashtag Boats. Yeah. It's gonna be tricky to see what the meta is gonna be, and but I think that the Super definitely showed that he's an extremely talented Reinhardt player, especially, and he even held his own on Winston on a couple of maps. So I think that he's definitely somebody to look at as a potential top main tank in the league when there's really a lot of competition for that spot. Obviously, like, you know, Bumper gets talked about, but like he does have distinct weaknesses, even though he does have these star moments because he takes these high risks. You look at somebody like Fisher, who was, in my opinion, outplayed by Bumper, and then you could argue that like Super played up to, if not past, the expectation that was set by Bumper. So, I mean, you know, there's definitely a conversation to be had whether like where Super ranks as far as main tanks in the league right now, but he's definitely up there.
And of course, we love to have hypothetical conversations on here, so we don't know what's going to happen next season. But do you think Vancouver, without seeing how the meta is going to shake out, is in a position to repeat as the Stage 2 champions?
I mean, they're certainly coming in as the favorites. Like we haven't even touched upon one of the main reasons why I think the Titans have such a huge advantage. That's because they played together for so damn long.
Right.
Like, this isn't like you look at these other expansion teams that have come in and performed well, like the Defiant and the Reign, and they've performed well despite the fact that these players haven't really played together before for the most part.
Right.
The Titans have played together for over a year now, this roster. So I think that it's almost expected that a team with that much internal synergy would be able to perform at such a height. So I think that will definitely continue into Stage 2 despite the meta change, the hypothetical meta change. Right. And while I definitely think that this meta helped out this squad, I think that they are in a decent position to be able to adjust to any kind of changes that might happen. So yeah, I'm expecting them to at least be up there in the Stage 2 playoffs, probably in the Stage 2 finals again, and maybe taking the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, they've been incredibly impressive. Obviously, I wasn't into the Overwatch League last season. You guys helped me get into it. I'm surprised that none of these players were in the Overwatch League last year. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there, but they certainly have impressed me so much. They're so talented. Like you said, they work together so well that the Vancouver's scary, man.
Yeah.
For a team that wasn't in the league at all last year to come in and just like train on everybody, oof, that's crazy.
Yeah, and we are still waiting for this famed Vancouver New York matchup, which we were you could
Robbed.
almost say we were robbed of it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously that
Fisher.
the Seoul upset was super awesome and a lot of fun, but now we do have this matchup to look forward to. I don't think it's happening in stage two, but
Maybe the playoffs. I mean, we hoped last
maybe in the
time.
playoffs. Yep.
Oh, and Ben, do you have anything else you'd like to add before we sign off for the day?
No, I'm very excited. I know we have a week off here. I think
Yes.
we're going to be taking another week off. We're going to be not putting out a video next week because
Yeah.
there won't be matches.
Overwatch League's taking a week off. We're taking a week off as well. But the week after that, we'll be back, of course. We wouldn't miss any of these matches. We're having so much fun covering the league.
Yeah, we're going to come back here and talk about the Uprising playing against the Reign and the Defiant.
Yes.
So a lot of really hard matchups in week one for the.
I hope that meta favors us. Hopefully we figure something out with Baptiste. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait for stage two. I'm hopeful that the meta shifts a little bit to at least away from goats. If there's still goats played on some maps, that's fine. But I think that it'll be cool to see some of these impressive DPS players actually being able to play DPS heroes. So
imagine that.
Yeah.
Some DPS in Overwatch League. What?
Yeah. I think I said this in one of the previews. Like, imagine shooting in a shooter game.
No. It's all about swinging hammers, Ben.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Ben Sharon. I've been tweeting less about Overwatch League than I probably should, just because I'm so entranced in these matches.
Right,
I don't want to take a time away to shoot a tweet out. But yeah, I've also been checking on the Discord every now and then to see if anybody is expecting a little live commentary. So if you ever
we're gonna
want,
leave the link in the video below to our Discord.
Oh, for sure, yeah. For the Discord, yeah. Because if you ever want a live commentary, just post in the general channel or whatever in the Discord, and I'll jump in to the Overwatch live commentary voice channel, and I'll just I'll talk about the matches as they happen.
Yeah, maybe we can get some streams going on for this second stage. I think that'd be a lot of fun, just in this format. Maybe have some people on as we're doing it. Ben, you'll be streaming starting soon. Don't know the exact date yet, but
yeah, still figuring that out. We're gonna move the stream schedule around a little bit going forward for at least a couple of months. So yeah, look forward to that. I might play some Overwatch, and you can see how bad I am. So
I'll be there too. You can see how bad I am as well.
Yeah. I might play some Hearthstone with the new expansion coming up. Might play some MTGA. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, sounds great to me. If you guys like what you saw, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell icon. Let us know what you thought about the playoffs in the comments down below. Let us know who you think the favorite to win Stage 2 is down there. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. And of course, you can find us on twitch.tv/wickedeverything, on Twitter at WG Everything, almost forgot it, on Instagram at wickedeverything, and of course right here on youtube.com/wickedeverything. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.